Hello, you shit-sniffing dick pigs. Jim Sterling here, and this is Lithium, Inmate 39. A game you need the patience of a fucking saint to play. This is a game that wants to continue in the tradition of... Oh, there's my phone making noises just as I start recording. Let's mute that for fuck's sake. How rude. Right. So, this is a game that wants to follow in the tradition of Abe's Odyssey, Heart of Darkness, those sorts of games, except Limbo as a more modern one, except it's a mess, and a lot of the puzzles are guess what the developer's thinking, and it's very cheap, and I don't use that word lightly. But this is one thing you can do. Every now and then you'll find a little grandfather clock, and you turn a key in it. If you find a key, you turn into a humanoid monster who is more human than this guy who looks like Ren, who's been mainlining on Mutagen for years. And that can deal with monsters, but when you're this little guy, you're fairly defenseless. The game uses fixed camera angles to trick you. It'll hide mines or... Oh, let's look at this. That just happened. There's a hand that just shoots out the ground and hits you, and there's no warning of it, no forewarning. You just get fucked. I struggled with that for a little while. It's possible to do. You've just got to be quick on the mark. I do get it, eventually. I've got so much footage of this game fucking the player over. For this video, because I don't have too much time today, because I wasted an hour trying to get a Call of Duty video done, and for some reason the sound was just fucked. Oh yeah, that's the thing, you can't just jump straight up. Pressing the jump button once makes him do this weird little standing long jump, which is very awkward and gets you in trouble. That was me just... I hadn't picked up the game in a while, and I was testing the jump button and forgot that it did that. So I jumped in those spikes. But that's just one of the many issues you've got to deal with this game. I don't know what I was doing there. That one was on me. But don't worry, things will happen later that are not on me. Anyway, back to this game. Actually, no, I was talking about COD. Yeah, for some reason I recorded an hour of it, and my audio, even though it's the same setup, same microphone, the same as it ever was, it just fucked up. It sounded like I was coming through some weird telephone. It was borderline unlistenable, so I guess I'll do an Infinite Warfare video at some point, maybe tomorrow now, but you got Lithium for now, which is more interesting. Because it's a game I don't want to hate. The game is really upsetting. In terms of just how frustrating it is. Like, it wants to be the new Limbo, the new Inside, Abe's Odyssey, Heart of Darkness, etc. You know, those games where death comes instantly, and it's very trial and error. But normally in those games, you know, it's screen-based, and if you die on a screen, you respawn right at that screen, and it's not a big deal. Whereas this is just fucked. Some of the checkpoints are really shit, and it makes you do repeated slow things over and over again. But anyway, this is us ducking over a blade. And yeah, just various ways in which this game is again, like I say, cheap, not fair. Like, it's got a fixed camera that will swing in ways that hides monsters and traps. Once it starts introducing landmines, I've got lots of footage of landmines, but I'm not using that in this video. But I may do another video, or at least just like a reel of the game just fucking with the player in really annoying ways. This was me just... You don't see many non-hostile NPCs, so I was a little curious about that doctor there. Anyway, here we are, ducking under the saw blades again. Fairly simple stuff. Little bit worried, because every time the character goes near a wall, he pokes his head up. And then that happened. Just one of the many ways in which the game will fuck you. You just wait until we get to the bit where we're jumping over boxes in water/blood, because the character can't swim. This confused the hell out of me. I thought I was dead, but it was just some weird eyeball jump scare. There we go. I was very confused by that, and then it popped. Wasn't sure what to make of that, as you can see here, a little bit confused. This is the PS4 version that I'm playing. It's on PC as well. It's running at an odd frame rate that I think is deliberate, because everything looks a little bit stop motion. Like, the main character, he moves with some missing frames, and I think that's deliberate. I think that's stylistic. All the characters look a bit claymation. which I quite like. Like, I love the visual style. Like, you can see why I was attracted to this, right? Like, it's just weird and freaky and disturbing. Like, the enemies, just big sort of giraffe, bird, ostrich things, I guess, but with hands and arms for heads and necks. And there are some really fucked up monsters and things, and even the main character, you know, very freaky looking. Cute in a fucked up kind of way. But so much of it is so deliberately obfuscated and so deliberately vague and so deliberately guess what the developer was thinking rather than work out how to solve it. There are some places where paths are literally hidden by the camera angle in an attempt to trick you into, you know, fucking up. The game goes out of its way to fool you, which I never think is fair. Like, give the player the information so that when they fail, it's on them. Or, you know, do it like Heart of Darkness, where if you are going to just suddenly fuck someone with a trap, at least it's the trap for that screen, you know? Not checkpoints that are less than friendly. So little touches like this really charmed me, you know, these weird wax or plaster mannequins, their heads just turning to look at you, and they're not doing anything, they're just sitting by a fire. So this bit almost broke my spirit, and you're going to watch it with me while I relive what was one of the more traumatic times I've spent playing a video game. So the jumping's fairly simple. Like I said, it's got this awkward standing long jump that has way too much range than it should. So this is why I'm being very careful, because I know just how much that jump can fuck you. I mean, look at the distance on that, and that's just pressing the jump button with no other input. So you've got to be super careful. Here we are, just realigning. And there we go. Seems simple enough. Now it's just a quick jump across the ravine, and in the water we go. Or in the blood we go, whatever. In the liquid, in the drink. So that's good. That's good. Let's try that again, shall we? Do. Jump across. And he just slipped. If you go just a hair too far, and there's no indication that it's too far, it will just, like gravity will just drag you into the drink. So that's good. That's also what this bit does, to really fuck with you. And there we are. Even though I landed on the box, he sort of jittered over so that he could go in the water and pretend to drown, because the animations in this game are not the slickest. It's clearly not a high-budget game. Well, there we are. I went a bit too far again. The character's awkward to control as well, which is always good in a game like this that wants to put in platforming and traps and luring monsters into things. You really want an unwieldy character that struggles with the fixed camera angles, that oversteps when you want to make just little steps, and has a jump like this. You know, all of this is what you want in a game. So here we go again, just trying to make our way. This is before I start losing my grip and making really silly mistakes. So going across. Now, you may have worked out something you can do already, which I do eventually start doing once I get bored of trying to do it the way I think the game wants you to do it, but you can easily break this sequence, because you don't have to jump on all these boxes. Quite why I was dancing to that tune, I don't know. But I do eventually just get bored of doing it, and I just walk across to the other side, and then you only have to jump on one box. It's just another way in which the game just fucks with you, because I'm doing it the way I think the game wants me to think I should do it. Although, consequently, you know, that's the easy part. It just takes time jumping across those boxes. This bit, that's the bit that fucks you. Now, I need to point out, I'm doing this correctly. There's an invisible wall, or maybe it's an extension of the bit of rubble that was in that top left corner there, that stops you from being able to jump. That was me, again, overshooting the controls because he's unwieldy when he's running. So he just ran into that fire and burned to death. Be careful of that. So I was a bit more careful there, and then, you know, decided can this be done? And it can be done. So we don't have to jump across those boxes, but that happened again. But like I said, I'm doing it the right way. Some of these jumps, I can't remember which ones exactly, but some of these jumps have me trying to sprint jump, like running a little bit and jumping to get a bit more distance, but you still just hit a brick wall. There is an exact location. There we are, just slipping down again. An exact location, an exact spot, and an exact angle that you must jump. But let's look at some more attempts in fast motion. And here we go, we're back. And there we are. We worked out the exact location. I say worked out, but I didn't work it out. It was happenstance. I happened to be in the right place, right time, facing the exact right direction, and we made it. So, that's good. Bit of lore here. And along we go, feeling good about ourselves. Not feeling good, I felt terrible. I was playing this while I was waiting for the campaign in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare to finish installing. That took about 10 hours. I was doing a Mafia 3 thing. Isn't that good? So, this is a boss/puzzle, which I don't do a good job of the first time round. But here we are. Again, like, great mise-en-scène. You know, the visuals, the design, all really good stuff. This puzzle, I did it, and I'll show you the solution, but you got to get all these lights green. But as near as I can tell, every time you die and respawn, the solution changes. I've managed to get all these lights green in multitudes of ways, and never the same way twice. Which, again, is just another way the game fucks with you. I eventually I was just pressing random buttons until they were all green. And that seems to be how it works. Just press them until they're green. Although I think at this particular point I did not realise that, so I gave up. I said I'll come back to it later, because it was just so fucking... I don't know how to describe it, but it was pissing me off anyway. You don't actually have to jump over these spike traps. I eventually got bold enough to sprint over them. But for here I was jumping. So, here's another monster, real creepy looking thing. It's a shame. This is one of the best shit games I've ever played, I'll say that much. You know, it's in that kind of best-worst category. Poorly designed, horrible camera. Look how that confuses me. Terrible camera angles and shit. Controls are awful. The traps are cheap. Now I get my head pulled off by the hand that I forgot came out of that wall. So anyway, this is me doing it for reals. This took a few attempts. I had to work out exactly what to do, but we get a little thing that says bring the boss, so we know we've done that bit right. I think I worked out that I could just sprint across here. Yeah, there we are, just sprinting across. There's the boss again, it's chasing us. We lead it back. When you don't have the ability to revert to that humanoid form, this is how... they're all humanoid, so the human-ish form. Almost all of the ways you deal with the monsters thus far seem to be luring them. Which, again, is a bit annoying when you consider how shit the character is to control. But that's what you do. You lure it across, then you turn the gramophone on, and the spike does the rest. And you get a key. Hooray for us. Let's get the key, and then forget about a hand. Because I wasn't sure where to go with this. You take it where you first see the boss, obviously, but for some reason my brain farted and I didn't think that immediately. So I just ran around the perimeter just looking for any doors or corners around here and then got my head pulled off there. Unceremonious. And that's Inmate 39. I may do another one, or at least a death reel of just some of the shit that happens in this game, because it's unbelievable. But I've got a vampire game to get to, so that'll be another time. And I'll see you later. Bye. God damn this game.